My name is Corey Mowry, and I serve as the board president for Susquehanna Valley CASA, Voices for Children. We are a nonprofit that is serving abused and neglected children that find themselves in the court dependency system through abuse or neglect in Lycoming, Union, Snyder, and Northumberland counties. We are here at our Lycoming County office with our case manager for Lycoming County, who you will hear from, and we are assigned by the court to assign a volunteer that is trained by our CASA staff and overseen by the case managers, assigned to a case which is a child or sibling set, and they learn everything about that case, and they make reports to the court and recommendations which have shown to decrease the time that a child spends in the court dependency system by about 7 to 8 months. And also, children with a CASA volunteer are far less likely to return to the court dependency system. So the end result is that they are placed in a permanent, loving, and stable home where they can then thrive.
My name's Louise Campana. I work for Susquehanna Valley CASA in the Lycoming County office. I am case manager for Lycoming County Volunteers along with my coworker, Mike Belfie.
Hi, I'm Mike Belfie. I'm the Lycoming County case manager for CASA.
What the community can do to assist us is to please consider volunteering to help all the children that we need to be directed to be reunified with their families. Right now we have about 8 volunteers in Lycoming County, and we have at least 30 children who are in need of a volunteer. So the greatest need for CASA is your time and your energy.
They have many people in their lives once they're in the court system, but the CASA is very consistent and stays with them and looks at all aspects of the of what's going on, and is really able to make some excellent recommendations and be there for the child. It makes a huge impact. I do want to say that the outcomes often are very good, and that that Louise and I are both very inspired by our volunteers because they do an incredible job, often in very challenging cases, but I would say most of our volunteers would say it's extremely rewarding for them as well. So they make it's a great volunteer opportunity to make a huge impact on someone's life.
And as a CASA volunteer, we go to the schools, we go to the dentist, we go to the doctor, we meet service providers that you never even knew existed. You're introduced to a whole new system that you never knew anything about, and our children need you. We serve from in utero to, I think a child can max out of the system at about 21 years old. We have one child who's been through being adopted, and then the adoptive parents didn't want her any longer, and she's been in the system since she was a young child. She's now opting to stay in the system. We're helping her with independent living, and so it's a success story.
I would say that if someone really would like to volunteer, at least come talk to us. It sounds challenging, but we're here to support our volunteers the whole way through. So they always have us to help them navigate everything. So even if you're a little bit nervous about it, please come talk to us, and we'll work with you.
And the judges in Lycoming County love CASA volunteers. Well, it is a commitment. You commit for at least 15 to 22 months. I thought I knew everything about children because I was an educator at one point in time, but being a CASA volunteer has opened my eyes to what happens to these children after they leave my classroom and before they get there. And the CASA volunteer is not only there for after school and for school, but during the day as well. So you are an extra set of eyes for the court, and your opinion is honored and respected.
And sometimes we come in with a very challenging case, and on the surface it looks like it could be pretty tough. But we have had the opportunity to see going from very difficult situation to a excellent outcome. And
what's an excellent outcome?
Someone getting a forever home in a caring, loving, nurturing environment, or or potentially reunification with the parents who have done a lot of work to rectify the situation that caused placement.
And what does that feel like when you see them either adopted permanently or?
It's a huge celebration.
It feels great. It is a celebration, yes. And
just the other day in the courthouse, we had a busload of family come for an adoption for one of our children. Oh yes, yes. And just personally, my very first case as a CASA, there were 2 little boys that were abused and neglected. We, through the months and months and months of toil and trauma, we did terminate the parental rights, and the children were adopted by a beautiful foster family. A couple of years later, there was another child to the same mother who went through the same process, and he was also adopted with his 2 natural biological brothers. So the 3 of them are together now in a happy, safe environment.
That's the ultimate goal.
That's the ultimate goal. Reunification is always the ultimate goal, but that's not always possible. So we work towards finding out, can this family reunify? Can they deal with these children? Can they raise them in a safe, do they have protective capacity? And those are the things that you'll go through during those 15 to 22 months. You'll be a deciding factor.
And if we want to volunteer, how do we get a hold of you? Your website, your phone number? What's the best way to?
I think the best way to get a hold of us is to go to the Susquehanna Valley CASA website. The website is susquehannavalleycasa.com, and then under the volunteer section, there is an area in which you can apply to be a volunteer.
Well, you need to be 21 years old, and you need to have a loving heart.
Right. And we provide very, very good training